Hi everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and today I'm back with another review. And we're looking at the Takara Legends line, Targetmaster, Headmaster, Triggerhappy. And for comparison, we do have the Titan's Return version of the figure. On the right is the Takara Legends version, on the left is the Hasbro Titanmaster. Basically, besides color and paint layout, the difference is the Takara Legends version does include a Targetmaster version of blowpipe, whereas the Hasbro version, blowpipe, was the Headmaster. Really what you can see in vehicle mode here is the difference in paint. The gray is now more of a ivory white, whereas the dark blue on the Hasbro version is more of like a very more lighter blue with a, I don't want to say a hint of green. Also, let me pick them up here. You can take a look at the detailing on the wings. They do have a little bit of a different paint layout. The Takara version is based more on the Headmaster's cartoon, the Japanese cartoon version. Just trying to get it balanced here. But also, as we'll see in robot mode, it does feature a lot of the animational stylings from the Transformers Rebirth series. Now, that's about it for vehicle mode. So we'll pause. This figure's been covered a lot and is widely considered one of the best Titans Return figures, if not the best. So we'll skip the transformation, but we're going to pause. I'm going to show you the heads, and we'll talk more about Targetmaster Blowpipe. Okay, so here are the Headmasters, Titanmasters. This one is Triggerhappy, since it is the Takara Legend version, and this is Blowpipe. As you can see, they are the same basic figure. The only difference is, as usual, is the paint deco. Takara went ahead and picked out a lot more of the detailing on Triggerhappy's head here to make it look more like the original figure, whereas Takara kept it very, Hasbro kept it very basic. I am sorry for that little flub. We just go quickly into the head modes, and you can see that the Takara version goes for a more cartoon accurate, and this is accurate also to the, original Rebirth miniseries, with the gold around the visor area and two red eyes, whereas Hasbro went with a blue visor and gold eyes. So that's pretty cool. And then real quick with Blowpipe here, the Targetmaster. I did check, this is actually very similar to the original Targetmaster figure and how it looked in the cartoon. The original toy was actually two parts, where you flip the figure in half and then stuck the actual barrel on. The transformation is actually kind of nice, but I'll be very honest, I'm not a fan of this design. And for whatever reason, when it's in the figure's hand, or even my hand, something just looks a little crooked. But transformation is, the arms don't peg into anything, so just get them out of the way. Go ahead, flip everything back around like this. You're going to lock at this point, so what you want to do is detach the barrel here. This is all clear plastic. There are two pegs on the back of the robot's leg that actually peg into the barrel, so you'll flip the barrel back up, and you really can't see the slots are on either side of that silver piece. Stand the figure up, rotate the legs forward, and just like so. And the final touch will be rotating the head around. And there you have Blowpipe in its robot mode. Now, apparently in the original Hasbro story, this was Zarek's brother, or half-brother, or brother-in-law or something. So I wonder if that makes Triggerhappy the leader of the Targetmasters. But the hips are a little bit loose on mine. They are joined, but you can move them individually. I'm trying to see, there is no... Yeah, oh yes, the knee does bend, even though it really doesn't have to, and you do have ball joints here in the shoulders. So this is actually an entirely different Targetmaster than from what we got with Hot Rod and Cup, who basically shared similar transformations, but a different barrel design. I like the transformation, I just don't like the overall look. So we'll pause, and we'll take a look at the Triggerhappy in robot mode. And here's Triggerhappy in its robot mode. One thing I did forget to mention is that there is a little retooling on the Takara Legends version. As you can see, a hole has been added to plug blowpipe into the vehicle mode. Now, obviously, the retooling is not as extensive as it was on Hot Rod and Cup, but this gives you a bit more of a chance to see the different paint deck out. The white instead of the blue on those fins on the legs, more of the gold on the chest, just basically the overall different color scheme. A few things I do want to mention, and I don't know if it's just my version of this mold, the two, Hasbro and Takara, or it's universal. The hand does not like to fold out in a completely straight manner. Also, on the Takara Legends version, the chest rotation, the chest doesn't peg into the hips as tightly as it does on the Hasbro version. So you might end up, as you're transforming it, you'll plug the legs in, but as you're fiddling about, you'll dislodge the chest because it's on that swivel. It'll go back in, and usually will stay once everything's done. Just something to keep note of. Overall, I really can't say in terms of deco which version of the figure I like more. There are strengths and weaknesses to both, but I do like the inclusion of the Targetmaster over those basic Titanmaster weapons that combine to form a seat, stuff like that. So I guess that's about it for the comparison. We'll pause and I'll give you my final thoughts. Ultimately, there isn't a strong difference and a strong urge to recommend the Legends version of Triggerhappy over the Hasbro version as there was with Hot Rod and Cup. There isn't that extensive retooling as on Hot Rod and Cup, and while the Targetmaster is nice, personally, I don't particularly like the design of the mold. Now, Triggerhappy is a great figure. I'm not going to call it the best in the line because between you and I find the transformation needlessly complex. As we've seen on Misfire and Slickslinger, who are retools of this figure, the same effect can be achieved with fewer steps and less motion. I'll give you an example. On my Hasbro version, these blasters have a tendency not to peg in flushly into the wrist socket, so they look a little bit off. That's not to say I don't like the vehicle mode in either version. I think it's a great homage to like the classic 80s shooters, and hell, I'll be honest, how cool would it be to get a two-dimensional, top-down, side-scrolling space shooter featuring the Decepticon Targetmasters from the late 80s. I got this figure courtesy of Amazon Japan, and believe it or not, it's going for the same price as Hot Rod and Cup, which again is a little bit of an issue because, as I mentioned quite a few times already, you're not getting that extensive retooling that you did on Hot Rod and Cup. So, if you're on the fence, maybe look for a couple more reviews, think about it, look at some more photos, and who knows, maybe the price might come down, but I don't think so. I think there is a demand for this figure, especially in Japan, where Headmasters was a much more popular series than in the United States. So it's your old pal Chuck for Triggerhappy and Blowpipe. We will see you next time.